Hello and welcome to Lecture 2 of Week 2, where we discuss organizational culture. During the first lecture, we defined an organization as a formal collection of people and other resources established to accomplish a set of goals. And these goals are usually defined by the structure of an organization, the culture, and also its ability to change. So, what is an organization structure? An organization structure is a system that outlines how certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of an organization. The diagram that you see on the screen right now is a diagram of the levels of management, where we can see the top management has an authority over the middle management, and the middle management has the authority over the lower and operative management, which then has the authority to the overall or the general workforce. And the area of responsibility is actually on the reverse direction, where the workforce has the responsibility to achieve tasks for the lower and operative management, to the middle management, and also to the top management. So, what are these different levels? So, the top management usually refers to the C levels, the CIO, the CEO, which then defines the direction of the overall organization. These directions are now being brought down to the middle management, who covers various lines of business or different areas of responsibilities. They could be the vice presidents or they could be the general directors of some business units that still handles or manages a large group of people. Now, these middle management usually has multiple layers depending on the bureaucracy of the organization. But underneath them, they are managing lower operative management. Now, these lower managers, or usually called first line managers, are directly involved in managing the direct processes, whether they are managing the recruitment process or they are managing the entire manufacturing chain. They are responsible to make sure that everything works smoothly as planned. And then they have the general workforce working for them. The structure also determines how information flows between levels within the company. An example of an organization change is of SAP, a global provider of information systems based in Germany. Their goal is to simplify the way their customers do business with them. So instead of having multiple people managing different areas of the business, they merged a bunch of them into three different groups: the customer success group, the product management group, and the product development group. In case there is a challenge with a customer and it involves their functions, decision making can be streamlined into the heads of these three groups instead of involving too many people and bureaucracy. Another example, now in the public sector, is the expected organizational structure change in PhilHealth. PhilHealth, or the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, is a government-owned and controlled organization tasked to implement universal health coverage in the Philippines. Last year, it sees a need to revisit their organizational structure in order to provide better services to the Filipinos. Unfortunately, due to the cases of corruption in the organization, the president replaced the head of the said organization with a former NBI director. Even though the new director admitted that he has no experience in public health, the president, as the overall CEO of the government, relies on his experience as a manager and a certified public accountant to fix the issues within the organization. Now, when it comes to organizational culture, we define culture as a set of major understandings and assumptions shared by a group, such as within an ethnic group or a country. It is even possible to have subcultures within a bigger culture, such as the K-pop culture. When an outsider of that culture looks into a K-pop fan, he or she might not understand the actions that the fan usually does. But for someone who has an experience of a fan culture, may it be in K-pop or other subcultures, they could possibly relate to them due to some common understandings and customs. Now, instead of looking at an ethnic group or country, the focus of an organizational culture is the organization itself. As an institution, Ateneo also has its own set of cultures and traditions that we even have the class called Introduction to Ateneo Culture and Traditions as part of the freshman curriculum. May it be the org culture or sports, these sets of major understandings are what makes us comparable to other universities. Do you remember why you chose the Ateneo as your university? Was the portrayed culture part of that decision? To understand an organization's culture, we don't usually need to be an actual member of that organization. Although being an external spectator and a contributing member could speak some difference on the actual experience, we will disregard it for now. We can see how the organization wants to be portrayed using their vision statement. This is the why of the organization, the reason of their existence. It is the company's roadmap indicating what the company wants to become, and it is guiding transformational initiatives by setting a defined direction for the company's growth. Usually, vision statements have a long time frame, as any organization would usually want to exist until the end of its lifetime, which is not in the next hour or week. This gives the organization a motivation to continue to function, working towards this big goal. Vision statements also humanizes an organization by tapping into human emotion. You will see organizations stating that they want to become the leading eye care provider or enlighten its constituents with the truth. It strongly appeals to emotion, which then appeal to a higher purpose. Overall, the vision should spark joy to the general public. So examples of that is if we look at SAP's vision statement, the overall vision is to help the world run better and improve people's lives. So anything that SAP does is towards this general vision statement. And if we look at Ateneo's vision statement, although they combined it into a vision mission statement, we can still see their overall vision. That is to preserve, extend, and communicate truth and apply it to human development and the preservation of the environment. Now, how does vision statement differ from a mission statement? So usually a mission statement is the how of the organization. If they have the direction, how can we actually achieve or work towards that direction? So it is the overall goal of the organization in order to realize the company's vision. So usually we have some questions that needs to be answered by the mission statement. So the first thing is, what do we do as an organization? So the mission statement should clearly outline the main purpose of the organization and what they do. The next question is, how do we do it? It should also mention how one plans on achieving the mission statement. Whom do we do it for? Okay, so the audience of that mission statement should be clearly stated within the mission statement. And lastly is that what value are we bringing? So the benefits and values of the mission statement should be clearly outlined as well. Now, using the same example organizations earlier, SAP wants to help the world run better by innovating to help their customers, which are other enterprises, run at their best. For Ateneo, in order for them to achieve their vision, they will exercise the functions proper to a university. That is, through teaching, research, and service to the community. So now let's take a look again at SAP as an example. So usually companies combine these two statements in one document or one overall statement. So an example here is at SAP, our purpose is to help the world run better and improve people's lives. Our promise is to innovate to help our customers run at their best. SAP is committed to helping every customer become a best run business. We engineer solutions to fuel innovation, foster equality, and spread opportunity across borders and cultures. Together with our customers and partners, we can transform industries, grow economies, lift up societies, and sustain our environment. Now, earlier we defined already the vision and the mission statement, which are highlighted in red and green respectively. Now, the question now is, I want you to review this specific statement. I want you to look at the guide questions for the vision statement. So, is it a long-term goal? Does it appeal to a higher purpose? And basically, the overall question here is that does it spark joy? Okay, so does it appeal to your emotion as a human being? Now, for the mission guide questions, basically we answer the four questions we indicated earlier. So, what do we do? How do we do it? Whom do we do it for? And what value are we bringing? So, I want you to take a look at the SAP's mission and vision statement and see how does it appeal to our criteria or characteristics for a vision and a mission statement. Other examples of vision mission statement is for Avon, okay, to be the company that best understands and satisfies the product, service, and self-fulfillment needs of women on a global level. For Facebook, it's a social utility that connects you with the people around you. And for National Heart Foundation of Australia, it is to reduce suffering and death from heart, stroke, and blood vessel disease in Australia. And for our topic for this week's discussion thread, I want you to look for organizations other than the ones mentioned here in this lecture and identify their vision and mission statements using the guide questions I mentioned earlier. To facilitate the discussion, I want you to look at the events or activities that the organization has made before and see whether these activities are aligned with their vision and mission statements. If there is an anomaly or misalignment, try to pinpoint them and answer why these activities made you question the organization's credibility. With that, I'll end Lecture 2. I will wait for your insights on the discussion thread and I will see you on the next lecture. Bye.